Well, hello, everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and welcome to the Dr. Hank Show. And you know what we do here every week is we just help real estate professionals and really all people, anybody that can benefit from this. And in particular, today, though, we have two rock stars in the real estate industry, and they are Megan Luther. Hey, Megan, and Parnell Quinn.
Hi,
And
everybody.
hey, both of you, and you guys are superstars. I know that you have set up systems and scripts. In fact, at the end, we're going to give away some of your goodies so that everybody can build their business and have it even better than where it's been before. And so we really appreciate you being on the show today and you helping us. And what I love is your concept about that this is really a business. And again, this can apply to anybody. A lot of people are becoming entrepreneurs now, and being a real estate agent certainly is one area, but a lot of this can apply to anybody wanting to be an entrepreneur or thinking about it. And again, in particular, to real estate agents who can benefit from all of Megan's and Parnell's experience. So, guys, let's get into it. And why don't we start with how would you build a business? And so let's hear a little about building a business, because in fact, that especially in real estate agents and brokers, it is a business, and sometimes it's not treated like a business. So, what are your thoughts on that, on how to build a business?
Yeah, absolutely. I love when you talked about real estate professionals, because that's a big thing that's really important to us as well. And Parnell and I think, have done a lot of things the wrong way. So we've definitely stumbled over and learned the right way at this point in time. So
Awesome.
starting a business, I think the most important thing, first and foremost, in addition to like process documentation and being able to replicate yourself, is onboarding and recruiting the right people and figuring out what the right people is for you. So that's been a huge hurdle that we had taken on from the beginning.
Yeah, so with the world that we work in, EXP has this virtual world, and in it, you create an avatar for who you are. However, in reality, you need to create avatars for who you want. Our first mistake was we hired agents first instead of staff. Then our second mistake was we hired just any agent. And really what we should have done is, who's the agent we're looking for? We want people that are, 1 to 10 years in the business, doing somewhere between 2 and 10 deals a year, right? And they want to be full-time agents, but they can't quite make enough money to leave their other part-time jobs. So that's the people that we like, that is a part of our avatar.
Yeah, and we kind of backed into figuring out who that right agent is. We had to figure out first, like, what is our mission? Like, what's our real why for the Simple Life? And then creating core values and operating with those core values constantly in mind. It's easier for you to find and align new people when you have those foundational pillars already set.
Yeah, that's great, and that really goes into I have a lot of experience. I was an executive with Procter and Gamble, and so I have had a lot. And what you share is very to understand your vision, to understand those pillars of what those values are, and then really to know who you're looking for. And you're talking about a piece of the business that maybe not everybody really understands. That over 30 years ago, Keller Williams actually started this concept about instead of Keller Williams having an HR department and paying for all that or whatever, they said, hey, if the agents want to do that, instead of paying people, what we'll do is we pay you part of the commissions. And so Keller Williams really started that extra revenue stream that is maybe different than a lot of agents, most agents are, hey, how do I build my business, and who the consumer is. And so you're coming from a different perspective that is really a different, again, revenue stream. And, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I mean, anybody that knows anything knows you really need different streams of income. And there are ways to do that. And just to be clear to everybody, it doesn't have to be with EXP. There's a lot of different ways. For example, I have passive income, made about $180,000 last year on mortgages, and giving my buyers my mortgage guy and getting legally paid on it, and most agents don't know about that. So there's a lot. In fact, I would say about probably 40% of the agents are, if not maybe even more, are not taking advantage of all the wealth that is available to us and the different streams of revenue that are there. So I love that part. And again, if you guys want to know more about that and what those pillars are and everything, Megan and Parnell are available to, speak with you. And again, we're going to give away some goodies there. And so what other part of the business that, most of my followers, my audience, that are very interested in building the business, and certainly that is one way to be able to bless other agents with the opportunity to earn that passive income by inviting other agents, and then they invite agents. And again, it's an old model that's been around for years. I kind of get a kick out of when people say, "Oh, it's multi-level." That really every business is multi-level.
Yeah, it is when you look at it. Absolutely.
We get paid. The wealth is being shared. And so, other thoughts on how would I build a business that would help me actually build my real estate, commissions, if you will.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, so I've been in the business since I was a small child. Grandpa owned a real estate company. Dad helped open Remax in the mountains of Colorado. So I've been doing this for quite a while. And the thing I always see that happens is people always want to add an agent first. And really what you have to do is get to your first breaking point of, I can't do any more work than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you want to hire, and I wouldn't even go with a full-time person at first. I'd find a transaction coordinator, and there's some great ones out there. Transactly, we use them for a long time. They're great.
Yeah.
But they charge like a couple $100 for each transaction. They keep your transaction straight, and it takes the pressure off of you. You have somebody reminding you when dates are due. Like we said, we made a few mistakes, and one of our biggest mistakes was hiring agents. So then you're training an agent and you're still trying to be in full production. Well, your production drops off twice as fast because you have to train the agent.
Yeah. And I think that's a really common thing that we see anyways when people are trying to grow and scale their business, right? Is that they do an agent before they'll do an admin. I think another important thing to look at, and Parnell, you might need to help me with this, but there's like 3 columns that you need to put things into.
Okay.
It's, what's making you the most money? What are your highest producing activities? What are the things that you maybe love to do, but they don't have the best ROI? And then what's like busy work that you're doing that you should stop doing immediately? And then in addition to, figuring out all of those items, replicating yourself. Right? Because initially when you start, most real estate agents are entrepreneurs. They're doing this on their own. They're building their own business. They might be part of a brokerage, whichever model it may be that you figure out works best for you.
Yeah. And
then writing down what you do on a daily basis is super important. And it seems trivial. And it may be, fall into that busy work task that you don't think is that important, but it actually is extremely important, because the more you have written down and you can pass on and explain to people, the faster you can build and replicate yourself and grow.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. Yeah, those I've called those high payoff activities and low payoff activities. And really, most people, and a real easy technique to understand, especially those low payoff activities, is to just start writing down, tracking what you're doing in your time just for a couple days, and you'll be amazed that most people are spending 70% of their time in low payoff activities.
Yes.
Right.
And so, you know, if you can
There's
increase that.
I don't remember the coach. And by the way, one of the best things to do is get a coach. I have 4 coaches right now, not all in real estate. Some are just business development. Megan's with me on most of those.
Yeah.
But one of the exercises that all 4 coaches separately talk about is the 15-minute drill. And that's every 15 minutes, you write down what you were doing for that 15 minutes before that.
Yeah.
And just have a sheet of paper next to you. Alarm goes off. You write down, I was on the phone, and it could be the same phone call that's an hour, same phone call for an hour, right? It's just 15-minute increments. And you do that for a week, 4 times a year. So you try to do it when you're super busy, you're off time when you have, like December for most people kind of slows down, December, January. Then your mid months, March, February, somewhere in there. And then July and August, you try to hit those 3 main categories. If you can do 4, all the better. But that'll help you track what you really do in a week. And what you do in a week is what you pretty much do every other day of the year.
Now that's an excellent, suggestion and recommendation, and and I would recommend for all of you listening here and watching that to write this down. That it's great to hear good news, and Parnell knows, and Megan, they're giving this free information to you, and it'll help you build your business. But you got to do it, and so the first step is write it down, and then actually schedule it, and to do that on a quarterly basis, and you'll be amazed on just how much more productive you are, how your business will grow, etc. And I love the idea of a coach. Of course, I'm also a coach, and I'm a mental scientist, so I help, whether it's real estate people or kids committing suicide or people going through midlife crisis or people that are ill with COVID or whatever. I can help them, as our mind literally creates everything. It's proven by science. So for sure. Yeah, I have 5 coaches, and from around the world, and I have like a breathing coach, and people go, Dr. Hank, you might be a smart guy, but we all know how to breathe. We got hit on the butt, we've been breathing ever since. But
that's very important. So yeah, coach for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, to be able to breathe. And I have a money coach in Australia who just has helped me with really more about how mass consciousness thinks about money and the filthy rich and whatever, and how to be able to change that. And I know how to tap into people's subconscious mind. So it's been very helpful, not only for me, but then I can use that expertise to help other people.
That is really interesting and very cool. I am quite fascinated by the conscious subconscious as well, and just how powerful the mind is. So
okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you know, I've written actually 15 books about the different subjects, but one, Your Royal Path to Riches, talks about tapping into the subconscious mind and how to tap into the subconscious mind. And again, everybody, be taking notes on all of this and making sure that, you actually act on this. So we talked a little about on how to build a business. And I think I want to get into those values. Can you just talk a little about, before we're going to, again, get into some real meat here on some scripts and everything that we're going to offer you, but when you talk about values, and so what did that ended up being, those pillars, that foundation? What did that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we worked with our coaching group. It's a great group, Cardone Ventures. So they are the business coach aspect of all of this.
Okay.
And they always tell us to steal shamelessly. So we aligned ourselves with the core values that they had in place as well for their company. Okay. And those are inspirational, transparent, disciplined, aligned, accountable, and results oriented. And why we just went with what they had. One, all of those resonated with us. Like that,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense. We were on board with all of them. Additionally, the second part to that is you can hire on all of those different values, you can reward, and you can fire. So it helps you streamline and systematize your business just that much more.
Yeah, I love that. Can you repeat those again? Inspiration? Yeah.
Yep. Inspirational, transparent,
Uh,
disciplined, aligned, accountable, and result oriented.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. And each one of us, I think if we were more focused on that, and especially like when we're tracking our time to see, hey, in those areas, did I perform that way? Was I interested? Was my focus on there? That it's a great one. So that's the foundation. And then the clarity on what you want. And let's direct this towards your actual commissions and your real estate business, our core business that we're all in. That what do you look for there? What is your vision there for the business, that part of the business?
Commission specifically, or just like the
business as far as not the different streams of revenue, but just my real estate business and closes, and who am I looking for? What do I want? What is that clarity there?
Yeah. So when we bring agents on, our expectations, based on different key performance indicators, we want agents to close at least 2 deals a month.
Okay.
We've worked our numbers backwards with the splits that we have on our team, that if agents are closing at least 2 deals a month, they're going to net $100,000 per year.
Yeah. Right.
Likely more than that, but we were conservative in those numbers. And so we are shooting for right now, we closed 2021, almost said 2020. We closed 2021 at just under 1.7 million.
Okay.
And so this year we're really striving for that 3 million mark. And as we continue to grow and scale, we know before we can actually start scaling, we're going to hit a couple more break points and stuff. So we're just looking at incremental change whereby we can implement whatever systems, processes, and different people that we need so that we have that really strong and broad foundation to build off of.
That's great. Super. And so I like that as far as, hey, I want to close at least 2 deals per day. Are there per month? Are there any specific focus that you have on what type of deals and what type of clients?
Yes. What we do primarily is when we bring somebody in, we try to see what their center of influence is, see who they hang around, who do they spend their time with.
Yeah.
Who are their core people that they have influence over, that if they said, hey, I'm a real estate agent, they would most likely list their house with them, right?
Yeah.
So for new agents, especially when they're coming in, if you're 1 to 5 years in the business, you should be hitting your center of influence, and you should be able to build up to around 150 people as your core center of influence. And you should be able to go around those people year after year and get business from them. And that's the easiest place to start an agent with business.
Absolutely. And, I love it that way because, I'm always looking for the best things to be able to offer my agents and people, and it's not necessarily always a shiny object, if you will, but, I am looking at that too, because sometimes they are shiny and they're good in the core. But, they usually all start out where it's not about the relationship. It's about just getting some lead on somebody you don't know. And I love your strategy because it's really about who you get to know and who you know right now, and then who you get to know. And I love this whole idea about, hey, who's your center of influences of people, and then building that to 150. And just so everybody understands that, each person that typically knows altogether about 250 people, but 10 of those people are looking to buy or sell real estate, their home. So now if you have 150, you actually have 1,500 leads at any given time.
Right.
And so it's a lot of business. That's all you need. And it's done in what I would consider a more intimate way, where you're really connecting with people and you're wanting to help them. And so I just absolutely love that strategy. Now, let's get into, and I know you're going to provide some free access to some scripts and some different campaigns that you've ran for that have been successful. That what are the so if I am talking to the center of influence, if you will, some person that I know, and so everybody right now just think about, hey, who do you know that you can contact easily, have a relationship with them, and share this with them? And what would I share with them? What's some good content, if you will, something to get people excited about you, your business, and get them into attracting real estate?
Yeah, everybody always wants to start with the free home evaluation to get the listing, see if the person's interested in seeing what their house is worth.
Yeah.
That's kind of come and gone in my belief of the world. I know people still want to know what their houses are worth. They go to Zillow, they go other places.
Yeah.
But the information I've found that works with my center of influence best is giving them the actual information about the current market. Why is it such a seller's market? When is it going to become a buyer's market again? What would be the indicators that prices are going to start flattening out or going down, or we're going to head into another 2008 crash?
Yeah.
That's the information they're really looking for. As you can see right now, we have very few listings around the country. We're probably about a third of what we should be for this time of year. And a lot of that's because of fear. They're afraid if they sell now, they can't find another house. And if they sell now, they're going to miss out on another $100,000 of value.
Yeah, when you think about it, like Parnell's saying, and especially with your sphere, it is that little bit more intimate, and you can talk to them about fears, concerns, hopes, and really sharing your expertise. Parnell has been in the industry for over 30 years. I'm just over 15. Like, we do this every day. So we take for granted maybe some of the metrics and trends and things that we see. And so when you can talk about that with your friends, consumers, clients, they really do. It's a deeper level of communication.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. And I love that deeper level. And, it's really, we're here. The prize, if you will, is to have joy and making those deep connections and, really helping people and feeling good, is just the way. Well, that's beautiful. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us that you think might be helpful?
I always like to just remind agents that this is ultimately a customer service business that we're in, that we're creating. And so actively listening and being able to connect with buyers or sellers, vendors, different contractors, everything within this real estate realm is really important, and to just focus on that more so than just the transaction.
Yeah.
People feel that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just was with an agent yesterday, and he just kept on talking and talking. And when I would, try to give a little guidance, that he was talking right over me and doing it, and I'm like, hey, this guy's just concerned about what his next words are, and so we all know on how that feels. It doesn't feel good, and really we just want people to love us, to listen to us, the L words, if you will, to be able to do that. Yeah, that's great. And then so with that, what do you have to share? I believe Parnell, you put on a seminar, and could you tell us a little about that seminar that you put on once a month and what it's about? And
yeah. So I'm the designated managing broker for the state of Colorado for the commercial division for EXP.
Oh, awesome.
So they've asked us to once a week or once a month put on a class of how it helps the agents. So the class they asked me to do was self-employed to running a business. And it's about an hour long. And if you want, you can message in or find us, and we will get you a guest pass, and you can come watch the whole class if you want to come in.
Oh, that would be great. And what is that class on again?
It's the first Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
At 3 o'clock our time.
Yeah, so 3 Mountain time.
Mountain. Okay.
Okay.
So then that would be 4 Central, all these times, 5 Eastern, and that it would be on. And what is it on again, the subject, some of the content?
Yeah, so the subject of the content is how to take yourself from being self-employed. With all your studies, I'm sure 80% of most small companies are self-employed, and the only employee is the owner.
Yeah.
Right? That's most real estate agents. They have a business, but they're the only one in it.
Yeah.
So we take you from that percent of a brand new agent first day all the way to where you're running a team, to where you have an office, and when you have a business is when you can leave for 6 months and the business grows.
Yeah.
That's when you own a business.
Beautiful.
Until that point, you don't own a business, you have a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And your job is running the business.
Yeah. Yeah. And a job to me is just overbroke acronym. In a lot of ways, not only money wise, but you don't have the balance in your life and all those things. And how would we get a hold of you in order to tap into that?
You can DM me on Facebook. I'm all over Facebook.
And then we have our Instagram account too. It's The Simple Life Colorado. If you guys link up with us there, you can shoot us a message, and between Evan and myself and Parnell, we'll make sure you guys get an invite to that class.
That's great.
Even if you're not a real estate agent, you just want to see what we do in the world and what it's like.
Yeah.
Give us a minute too.
And it's also principles about, business. And if you do want to become an entrepreneur or whatever, that, that can be helpful, but, definitely directed. So not necessarily commercial, but it's residential as well.
Yeah.
That it's applicable to. And I just love the simple life, and you guys really have that as a theme. And one of my phrases to help people to attract more money is easy money, easy life. In fact, I happen to have it right here where I do 3x5 card, easy money, easy life. And so that easy, it's simple, and that really everything can be simple, but it's all what we're telling ourselves. And if we say it's hard or difficult or complex or whatever, then you're right. You get whatever you think about.
You do. Yeah. And it's what we focus on, right? So we say the simple life all day, every day. And really that's the goal. That's what we embody. I kind of joked about it when we started, but it's like, what do you want this company to be? What do you want to do? And we're like, I just want a simple life.
Yeah.
And so we strive every day to create that.
A lot of people take simple as dumb, and it's not dumb. Simple isn't dumb. It's very hard to be simple.
Yeah. It's easy to be simple. But I get what you're saying.
So what we're trying to do is help agents come into the business and simplify what they're doing so they can actually do more and enjoy more and work less. The goal is to get, and I was listening to another person's show the other day, Pete Vargas, and he was doing how to take over your 2022, how to crush 2022. And his thing is he's been working for the last 4 years to take his week down to 4 days of work and 3 days of time for himself. Well, you'd think that the 5th day would be him playing, the 6th and 7th day would be playing. No, that Friday, the first Friday that he had nothing to do, was his day to go back and review what is he doing and how can he make things simpler or easier in the first 4 days. And so that was his review day to keep trying to make that a more compressed time frame. And his number one thing is the same that who's the guy that does the Jets?
Jesse Itzler.
Jesse Itzler. Everything has to be on the calendar. Everything from when you wake up to when you start your exercise to when you make the first phone call has got to be on your calendar. And the more you can stick to your calendar, the easier your day is going to be.
Yeah,
well, the more structured you are, the more free time you have.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that, and I am a master time management, and that's one of the reasons why is I write it down, And so, in fact, I'm what some people call really old fashioned is I have, a hard copy, if you
Yeah.
will, time management system. But that way, if it's in the phone, I kind of, but this is, hey, it's right there. I got it listed. I'm taking notes right now and writing it down. And so, it just is a way that, has helped a lot of people. So yeah, put it on the calendar, and if it is electronic, that's fine as long as you're using it and looking at it and
Exactly.
following it. That's great.
Utilize that accountability buddy.
Yeah. That's good. That the time management system's your accountability buddy. Then to hold to it. And
you ran or still have a big office of agents that you work with.
yeah.
Most agents are firefighters. They get a call, they run out the door. They're always a reactionary position, and it's hard to break that habit because truly service-oriented client agents, they want to go and service the person. They want to go help them out and do the best they can. Meg and I come from a super small town. I think it's 1,200 year-round residents in our town, the rest of visitors. But when you can't get a hold of somebody, we had an agent last weekend, for example, help people move their furniture from one moving truck into another moving truck and then into their house because the movers that showed up didn't dress for the weather and it was -5 degrees outside.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So that's the service end of it, right? Is how far does your service have to go?
Yeah.
And for Misty, it was great. She got an excellent 5-star review from the clients. It really boosted her ego. She really, she's one of those timid agents, but once she gets over that timidness, she's an excellent agent. So.
And what was nice about that is because of how she planned and structured her day, that wasn't necessarily a firefighting task. It was more, I can actually help you. I have time and I'll be here for you. So
right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the more free time you have, the more free time you're able to serve, if you will. And not chasing those fires. And, and the question there is, who's managing you? Are you managing you, or are your clients managing you, or your business managing you, or whatever? And so we can all manage it the way and change some of the things we have. So great points, and I appreciate it. Last thing on the scripts, that what do you have there that, and campaigns, any thoughts on what type of scripts do you have that you might be willing to share with us?
Yes. So we have
multiple different types of scripts, and we can share all those with you too. We don't have to talk about it in detail.
But your first script that you need is, and it's a sad way to put it, but I don't have another better way to say it, is the sift and sort script. And that is when you first talk to a lead, are you buying 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60 days? Are you 90 days out? And are you 6 months out? And the reason you want to sift and sort your client, your new leads, is you want to work with the people that are 30 days or less, especially as a new agent. Then you got to remember how to keep up, and that's where you need a good CRM. You need to be able to keep up with your 60 days out, 90 days out, 6 months out, because they may change their time frame without you knowing it.
Yeah.
So you want to be in contact with a minimum. If they're 6 months out, you want to contact them at least once a month.
Yeah.
I'd say every 2 weeks. Anything less than that, you want to be talking to them weekly, even if it's just an update of what's happened in the market.
Yeah.
If they don't answer the phone, leave a message. Hey, 22 units that you would have been looking at sold, or 22 units came on the market, 3 are under contract, just updating you on the market. So when you're ready, you know what you're looking at.
That's great. Love it.
Another good thing that we've had success with those follow-up scripts and different things too is video messaging. So you can still just, ask the question, do a portion of the script, and it's all via video. Especially, we live in a second home market, so for us, that's been really helpful to put our face actually in front of people and speak to them, even though it's not in person. It's a personal touch.
Yeah, I like that, and it's a soft touch, and it's really easy. I mean, most people are very self-conscientious about how they're looking or whatever, and I tell people, hey, if you have a bad hair day, nobody knows it but you. Just not thinking about it. It's just not a big deal. That's great. And then campaigns. Just a couple thoughts behind what kind of campaigns successfully you've had that you could share.
Yep, absolutely. One of the most successful ones we've had, again, a little bit old school, you could say, but it was a direct mail piece. And
Okay.
so we do a flexible listing commission. It's something that in the current market, with it being a seller's market, us in particular having a second home market, people don't necessarily have to move because they need to be in a different school district or, various other reasons. They just want as much money as possible to
Right.
sell their place. So by us giving them that flexible commission structure, we captured a lot of higher end home sellers and were able to list and sell their homes. And their net would have been more than if they had gone a different route. So
Wow. Awesome. Love it.
yeah,
And so when you say flexible, can you just tell me a little detail about that?
you bet. Yeah,
Sure. So we do 0 to 7.
Okay.
See, how do you sell something for 0, right? That's what everybody always asks. Well, if you're our buyer or our seller, and you list with us, and within the first 48 hours, because it happens all the time, first 48 hours, your neighbor, your best friend, your mom says, "Why are you selling your house? I'll buy it." Right? If you don't need us, we step out of the deal. You get to close the house yourself.
Awesome.
Then from that point, if you did find your own buyer, then you can say, "Hey, we need help with the contract and negotiation," and we split that commission up based on what work we do, not like a lawyer would do by the hour, but we say, "Here's a set amount of work that gets done. Here's a set amount of work," and it starts at 2%, works its way up to 7. And 7, Megan likes to call it the MTV cribs. Those that are born before the 80s probably know this. Those just after the 80s probably don't know what MTV crib is. But it's funny because a lot of the high-end people, that's what they want. They want the show. They see it on TV.
Yeah.
So the offerings are different. It's a 0 to 7%, and then based on whichever what the client's needs are, it's like a menu of options.
That's awesome.
Figure out what fits best for them and what we can do, and go from there. So that's great.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, that's great. Well, super. And tell us again on how to get a hold of you for the scripts and for the different campaigns.
Perfect. Yeah. The best way to get a hold of us is going to be through Instagram. So we are The Simple Life Colorado, and you can just reach out to us through there, direct message us, or like Parnell said, he's got a pretty unique name. So if you Google Parnell Quinn, you should be able to find him on Facebook and Instagram as well. We also have a company website that you can fill out a form and reach out to us if that's preferred.
That's fantastic. Well, great. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Any last comments that you'd like to leave us with?
As you start your business, just know there's several stages of it. There's the creation of the business, getting to your overflow point. That's where you can't keep up with your work and you need help. That's when you want to hire the TC or a staff person. And then you go into your scale, which is you documenting everything you do so you can start replacing yourself with another salesperson. And you do that for your staff as well, so you can replace the staff with more people.
That's fantastic.
And just keep your financials in line when you're looking at that, so you don't overspend and end up having to go back into sales every day.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, Megan and Parnell, we thank you so much for being on the show today. Thanks for sharing all your wisdom and your help. And we know this, everybody, that you have the power to be, do, and have everything that you want. Thanks again, guys, for being on the show. Love you. And we'll see you next week. All the best.